Welcome to the Mindset Architect podcast, where it's all about creating the life you want, the business you want, and making a real difference. Join us in unlocking the code to true success. And now your host, Tony Caliendo, Master Coach with Rethink Coaching.
Welcome to the Mindset Architect Podcast, episode number 90. I'm Tony Caliendo, Master Coach here at Rethink Coaching. And as always, I want to thank you for sharing your time with me today. Time truly is our greatest asset, and the fact that you're willing to share your time with me truly does mean a great deal. So here we are, and this week I want to talk to you about noise. So I'm always paying attention to what I'm experiencing as a coach, what I'm experiencing as a human being out in the world. And I want to bring it to you so that you can become the version of yourself that you've always wanted to be, whether it's increasing in your business, increasing your personal life, whatever that is. And the thing that I will say that I'm noticing a lot right now that I'm dealing with in a lot of the coaching programs that I'm running in groups, even with some of my one-on-one clients, is this thing that I call noise. So we live in a day and age where we have a ton of data and noise coming at us at all times. It is information and data rich like we have never seen before. The amount of data that we receive today, compared to even 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, is unbelievable when you stop and realize how much we get hit with on a daily basis. And noise can be news, it can be social media, it can be clients, it can be your own thoughts, whatever it is that's causing a little bit of chaos for your brain is what I consider to be noise. And can we live in a completely noise-free place? Probably not, just because of how we are connected technology-wise to everything in life, but we can certainly manage it. And one of the things that I want to talk about, which is what I love, and it's really what this podcast is based on today, is your brain is constantly seeking a direction to go. And if you don't provide it with one, it's going to find a direction to go. And that's where noise comes in because, people call it ADHD, ADD, whatever you want. If your brain doesn't have a direction to go and we're not giving it a signal as to where to go, it's going to go get busy finding data and finding things to keep itself busy. That's just how it works, because if your brain wasn't busy and active, you probably wouldn't be alive and breathing. So the thing that I love the most, and I want you to think about for the duration of this podcast, is your brain is waiting for a signal from you. And if you don't give it to it, it's going to go find its own way. It's like a toddler without any supervision running around the house trying to find something to do. And so let's give it a signal. So there is a difference between noise and a signal. Noise is all the distraction stuff, right? But a signal that you can give your brain, a really cool roadmap and direction that you can give your brain, is in the form of a signal. And what do I mean by that? So for me, a signal is much the same as an intention or a goal for the day. But a signal is simply picking, let's just say, I'm going to focus on these 3 priorities today. And we are going to know what the priorities are. We're going to talk about it a little bit later. But I'm telling my brain, these are the 3 things we're going to focus on. Now your brain goes, okay, I got these 3 things. Now I'm going to start paying attention for when these 3 things are coming up, but I'm going to go find them. I'm going to go find the way to support you in that. So some people look at it as an intention. Some people look at it as a goal. I want you to think about it as a little signal waving out there to your brain saying, hey, here's where we're going. Ignore everything else. You don't need to worry about it. This is a signal I'm sending to you today because this is what we're going to get done today. It is the best gift you can give to yourself to pull yourself out of the noise and distractions. That's the number one thing I would say to do. If you're experiencing a little overwhelm, if you're experiencing things that are distracting you from getting to goal, that's the number one thing that you can do that can quickly turn it around. And it's very simple. It really is simple to send your brain a signal as to what you need it to do. Number 2 is the power of mindfulness. And I know this is one of those things that's overused, but mindfulness is really a great way to enhance your awareness and decrease your stress. Becoming mindful makes it a lot easier to push away from the distractions and away from the noise and focusing on what really matters the most. It gets you out of that chaos, that vacuum of noise, and it gets you to really focus and calm your brain down. It's a great tool to help you with your focus. If you take a moment every single day to practice mindfulness, when you get into a space, maybe in the middle of the day where you're really sucked into the noise and distractions, you can draw on that skill that you've developed and use it to become mindful. So if you don't have a practice, it's things like journaling, prayer, anything that you can do that gives yourself a way to become really mindful about what's important to you and why you're here and what you're doing is a mindfulness exercise. For me, it's journaling. That's a big mindfulness exercise. If you're really in the muck and journaling isn't working for you, praying is great, yet you're still in the chaos of the noise. One of the easiest tricks that I learned early on before I became really well versed in journaling and meditating was just to focus on your breath, just to calm your system down. If you just close your eyes, set a timer for 5 minutes, and all you focus on is your breath, meaning paying attention to the inhalation, your chest rising, then exhaling, your chest falling. And that's all you focus on. That can bring you to a place of peace and mindfulness. It's one of the easiest things to do. So if you're newer to a practice of mindfulness and you struggle with it, because in the beginning, a lot of people do, that's one of the simplest things you can do. For me, and this has been really kind of a more recent thing over the last 90 to 120 days, I've been practicing yoga, and in particular, hot yoga, which is a very specific type of yoga. I always say it's kind of a combination of aerobics, weightlifting, bar, and good old step aerobics. And for me, it is a really disciplined activity. I do it every morning. I take one day off a week. I do it 6 days of the week, 7 a.m., regardless of what's going on. And it's 1 hour of myself in a really hot room. And I set my intention or my signal before I start my yoga practice. And for the hour that I'm in the room going through the practice, listening to the instructor and paying attention to my body, how I'm flowing and doing what I need to do, I have set the signal to my brain. And so throughout the day, I can draw on that. That works for me. It may not work for you. For you, it might be going for a run. It might be weightlifting. It might be taking a long bike ride. Whatever it is for you that allows you to be in a space of mindfulness, do it. And I say do it early in the morning because it's a really great space to set the signal for the day. So work on your mindfulness. Number 3, we've talked about this over and over. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it. It's just simply being aware of being digital detox for a while. For those of us who are entrepreneurs and own our own businesses, we use social media a lot for advertising exposure, selling products. I sell coaching programs. I let people know what we're doing at Rethink Coaching and helping people out. So I have to be connected in social media. I have to be connected to technology. But I'm very purposeful in how much time I allow myself to be on social media. And I share that responsibility with one of my support teams. So I've become very aware of the amount of time that I spend on social media. And I use it really as an advertising technique and a way to stay in touch with my clients and the people that I care about. News is another detox that you should consider doing. I don't watch news anymore because it was not just the news I was getting. It was a network's opinion. It was a reporter's opinion. It was always slanted. And so I've stopped watching news broadcast. I still get news. I subscribe to 2 programs that just send me information on what's going on. No opinions, just the facts. And therefore I can read it and I can assess it and not have somebody else's interpretation of it impacting me. So digital detox. Number 4, I wish, I could stress this just a little bit more. I talk about it all the time, but I really want you to hear it this time. If we're sending signal to our brain and we're looking to stay out of the noise and the chaos that's going on around us, it is establishing clear goals. I know you're like, oh my God, he's going to talk about that again. Yep, I'm going to talk about it again. It's not only having clear goals, it's revisiting those goals daily, multiple times a day. So in my journaling practice, which I still do, I always, in every one of my journal entries, you can open up my journal anytime you want. You can look and see a section called goals. And I write out my goals every single day. It's really healthy. I'm thinking about it. I'm writing it. I'm seeing it. I am owning it. Those are my goals every single day. And when I'm clear on those goals, it's another way, another signal for your brain as to where you're going versus allowing it just to run around like that toddler to go find whatever it needs to do to entertain itself, which is usually noise and distraction. So knowing those goals, visiting in them every single day, multiple times a day, is a great way to keep yourself out of the noise because you're giving your mind a very specific task. Here's the signal, intention, goal for the day. These are my overall goals for the year, and it creates a bigger stretch for your mind and your brain. So establishing clear goals is important, but really visiting it often, every single day, and multiple times a day is the ticket. Number 5, we've briefly discussed this, but it's really important that you have a productive environment. Okay. So for me, whenever I do my podcast, my environment is decluttered and I have very specific things on my desk. If I took the camera down and showed you right now, you would see I have a pen and a yellow notepad. I'm still a little old school. I like to be able to jot notes down. I just like the way it feels, pen and paper. I have my iPad right here with my notes on it for the podcast. So I can look at it and I've got my notes and then clearly I have my microphone and my laptop. That's it. That's my productive environment for podcast. This is also the same environment that I use to talk to my one-on-one clients with because it keeps me very focused on what's happening. I have for my one-on-one clients, I've got a calculator in addition to the other things that I lean into because we look at numbers a bit. And that's it, team. So that's my productive environment. I journal at the desk behind me. That's my productive environment for journaling. For my creative environment, where I need to be creative, where I'm writing content or I'm writing and creating things, I go to a coffee shop. Now, I avoid distractions there because I put in noise canceling headsets, but the energy of what's going around that creates a productive environment for myself. So another great way, it tells my brain when I sit down in this chair, I'm either doing one of two things. I'm either working on my podcast or I'm working with my clients. That's really the majority of things that happen at my main desk. Or I might be recording, a video. Other than that, I've got different workplaces that create the productivity space, but it tells my brain it's time to do this. It's time for you to do that. It is a great way to block out the noise. Again, I'm sending a signal to my brain. Number 6, we've talked about this as well, but time management is a really cool gift to give yourself for staying out of the noise. And why is that, or how does that work? I have a schedule that I follow every single day. I know that I get up very early, as you all know. I do my journaling. I go to yoga. I leave the house at 6:15 every morning to get to the yoga studio to warm up for my 7 o'clock class. I come home. I've got my schedule in front of me, and I know exactly what I'm doing at any given moment throughout the day because my calendar is really just a to-do list for the day with times assigned to it. When I tell my brain and give it that path, again, another signal, this is what you're doing at 8 o'clock. This is what you're doing at 9 o'clock. This is what you're doing at 10 o'clock. It doesn't need to wander off and find something to do. It knows what it needs to be doing. Some time management is a great way to insulate against the noise and the distractions. Lastly, this is really important for you to get comfortable with the art of saying no. For those of us who are in a people industry, which a lot of entrepreneurs are, it's really hard to tell somebody no at times because we don't want to let somebody down. We want to make sure everybody's happy. And I will tell you, when you say yes to something, you're always saying no to something else. And so you may need to focus on saying no to things that are not on your calendar, that are not part of your signal for the day, that are going to draw you into noise and distractions. As entrepreneurs, I always find it interesting. My friends, not so much anymore because they've all learned that, yes, I'm self employed. Yes, I'm my own boss and I'm not going to fire myself. Although there's days I would like to. But the distraction of, can we go grab lunch? Can we go grab a drink? Can you meet me for happy hour? Can you go pick this up for me? I'm really in a bind. Do you mind running to wherever, dry cleaner for me? There is an art to just saying no. And sometimes we feel compelled to say no with an explanation as to why we can't. And I just want you to embrace the power of no as a complete sentence and be good with that. Because if you don't say no to the distractions, you're undoing all of the other 6 things that we talked about. You're undoing your schedule. You're undoing the signal. You're undoing the place of productivity. You're undoing a lot of it. And it's just because you haven't been really trained yourself to say no and be okay with saying no. So think about it. Every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. Now, if you're saying yes to productivity, if you're saying yes to your schedule, if you're saying yes to your workplace, then you're headed in the right direction because you're staying out of the noise and chaos. But if you say yes to, let's run and go do this real quick for the afternoon, or come look at this with me, then you're saying no to your productivity. You're saying yes to the noise and distraction. So if you just focus on those 7 things, and the number one thing, again, and I just love the way that we look at this, is your brain is constantly looking to do something, right? That's how we stay alive, to be honest with you. The second your brain is no longer looking to do something, you're probably no longer with us. So your brain is going to automatically be doing that. If we give it the guidance and direction it needs by sending it a signal, think of it about like a radio tower is sending out a signal, right? If we are sending a signal, or we're a GPS tower, it is allowing us to know exactly what and where we should be going. That is the most important thing that you can do for yourself to stay out of the noise. I think mindfulness is the second most important thing, because it's just a good mental practice to pull you out of the energy of that chaos, because sometimes the energy of the chaos and noise actually feels good. And so being mindful and having an exercise where you can pull yourself out of that and get grounded really quickly, I think is the number 2 important thing in the list of 7. So think about these things. I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. I'm going to ask you to please take a moment and think about these 7 things. Number 1, send a signal versus allowing your brain to just go find noise to keep itself busy. Number 2, develop a mindfulness exercise or practice so that if you are caught up in the chaos, you can quickly ground yourself, pull yourself out of it, and get refocused on the signal. Number 3, digital detox. Be really guarded of your exposure to what's going on out in the world, whether it's news, social media, phone calls, texts, notifications, whatever it is. Spend some time thinking about a detox from that and setting up strict boundaries as to what you allow to happen. Number 4, clear goals. I mean, I know we all have goals. I know that in my heart. I'm hoping that everybody has a business plan and goal, but having clear goals and visiting them every single day, multiple times throughout the day, helps, again, give your brain a signal as to what to do and keeps it from having to go find entertainment for itself, which is noise. Number 5, have your environment support the activities that you need it to do. Some people are good with just one desk doing everything from that desk, and I'm not going to criticize that. For me, very specific areas to get stuff done that I need to get done. 6 is time management. It is a great way to round up your brain and keep it focused on what needs to happen for the day. Again, that signal, the goals, right? If it's on my calendar, it's going to keep my brain from having to go entertain itself. Number 7, the art of saying no. I'm going to ask you to please pick one or more of those things and think about the one that would have the biggest impact on your business and your life, and implement them. It might be all 7, which would make me very happy. It might be 1 or 2, and that's fine. But please pick from this list what would have the greatest impact on your business and work at implementing and work on that task. Thank you for sharing your time with me. Thanks for paying attention. And thanks for having the desire to excel in life and business and investing in yourself and listening to things like this podcast. As always, I am here for you. Whether you're a client of mine or not, it doesn't matter. I will always offer an hour of my time to help you out, whether it's with this, like the noise. If you're in a really funky spot with it and you need some one-on-one, I'm happy to give you a 1-hour complimentary strategy call. You just have to reach out to me, Tony@rethinkcoaching.com. You can ask me a question. You can ask for a link to my calendar. I'll be happy to send it to you. You can go to our website, rethinkcoaching.com. There's an information box you can fill out. That comes directly to me. I will reach out to you. We'll set up a time for a free 1-hour strategy call. You can find me on all the social media outlets, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. You can find me there and direct message me, or you can Google me and find my cell phone. I'm not opposed to getting a phone call from anybody who needs help. I'm always here to help you out. So your challenge is give your brain a direction to go so it doesn't have to go find its own entertainment in the noise and distractions, and you will see an immediate change in your business and life. Team, go make it a great week. Go enjoy yourself. Stay focused. Block out the noise. I know there's a lot going on right now. I don't think it's more than ever before in terms of that there's noise. I think it's just different noise. So do yourself a favor, implement one or more of the 7 steps that we talked about to eliminate the noise and give yourself a signal as to where you're headed. Make it a good one. We'll talk to you soon. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, you must come check out the Mindset Architect Group Coaching Program. It's our monthly program where we explore the power of your mindset, help you identify what you truly want in business and life, and then help you reach those goals. Come check us out at rethinkcoaching.com/group-program. That's rethinkcoaching.com/group-program. We'll see you there.